That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast, and we help people stay sober. Be sure to check us out at thatsoberguy.com. You can leave us a voicemail there. You can send us a message through the contact form. It's good to have you here today. It's your first time listening to the podcast. Welcome. Glad you're here. Hope you hear something that helps you today. That's the goal. I'm pumped for today's guest. Our guest is Rich Beddoe. And Rich played drums for the bands Finger 11, Saint Asonia, and currently plays for the band No Resolve. He's also a father. He's a husband. He's sober. He's a good dude. We're going to chat today, and I'm really pumped for you guys to hear it. But before we get to Rich, just a couple of quick announcements. You got to check us out, the That Sober Guy podcast, sober community on Locals. It's kind of like Instagram meets Patreon. Many of you know who've listened to the show for a while, I completely bailed from all social media platforms for my own reasons. But let me tell you a little bit about how it works and why you should join us right now. The Locals app provides direct access to your favorite creators, to their communities. It's actually created by Dave Rubin. And access exclusive content, including videos, podcasts, interact with other supporters within the community. And then here's the great thing. It's a couple great things, but one of the things that I love, we set the tone in terms of content and moderation. So not like these other shitty big tech companies that want to rule our lives and use our data. No behind the scenes censorship. Your data is not sold. So if you're looking to support your favorite creators, access content, have a safe place to chat, laugh, connect, and stay sober with other independent thinkers and like-minded people, Locals is definitely the place for you, and I'd love to have you join right now. You can download the Locals app or just go to thatsoberguypodcast.locals.com, and I'll make sure to put both of those links in the show notes. We've got some hoodies, some hats, how to navigate the first 90 days of sobriety podcast, digital course, all on thatsoberguy.com. So if you want to leave us a message, check any of that stuff out, contact us. You can do that there. All right, Rich Beddoe, thank you, sir, for coming on the podcast today, man. It's good to see you. How are you today?
Good, man. Good to see you too. I'm great. So I was a little bit late, man. I was having a cat nap with my baby, so I apologize about that, but I'm doing real good, man. Glad to be here. Pumped.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Now, I know how those dad nap goes, man. You said you have a 7-month-old, so you got to make sure you get those in, and those little power naps are crucial throughout the day. So good stuff, man.
Well, and thank the Lord, my stepdaughter just woke me up. You have a pulse right now. So yeah, it's great to have the stepkids and my baby around. Yeah, because I got a 10-year-old stepson and a 8-year-old stepdaughter too. So it's a handful around the house, man. It's a zoo, but I love it, man. It helps keep me sober. That's for sure.
Yeah. Me too. It's funny. My wife and I talk about too, like we all kind of had these lives before kids, and it's really hard for me to imagine. I mean, trust me, I got some memories. I'm sure you do too. Some good and some bad, but like the kids, I don't really know what the hell life was about without the kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That's right.
Like, crazy.
Yeah, man. It's amazing that, just how much everything changes, your values, it's funny because I haven't toured in a couple of years here. Like before the virus hit, I still wasn't on the road. So it's definitely, I'm wondering how that's all going to work in the future with, how I'm going to feel about it going away, man. It's going to be obviously a lot more difficult than it would have been in the past.
Sure.
So we'll see how it all unfolds, just, I guess the whole taking it day by day, that's going to also, have to do with touring too, man. We're going to see if it's, how that works. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be tough, leaving your family to go out on the road and work, and speaking of that, I checked out some of the No Resolve music yesterday, man. Super good. I saw the Never Back Down video. Yeah, great video, dude. And even a Garth Brooks cover. I mean, come on, like that's legit right there.
I know. Cool. Yeah, it's fun. These guys it's interesting. They're trying to do it's a different business plan than I've ever done in the past, because it was all about selling records. Yeah. And nowadays it's all changed with streaming and stuff. And it's still stuff I'm not really that familiar with. I mean, these guys are educating me on it all. Yeah. But the plan with this band is to release a song and a video every 6 weeks. Just keep boom, boom, nice. Putting them out. and to kind of avoid touring for now until it becomes really worth it. You know, it'd be good to get out there where most new bands will have a song or two out and then they hit the road and they're supporting bands or they're doing small club tours. The hope for this band is we got enough songs out there that are successful. I mean, still a club tour, but we can go out there and do a proper tour where we're actually selling tickets, or get on like a proper, you know, tour where we're supporting somebody. And it's just, you know, the guys in this band are all working full-time jobs. I mean, I've been blessed to be on the road for the last 20 something years and not really have to work a normal job, but these guys all have careers. So they don't want to pick up and leave until it's worth it. So I kind of like that. I kind of like everything about this band. It's much more real and like a hard-working Detroit band, you know? It's cool.
It is, man. And one of the things I picked up on just in the videos, in especially the No Resolve video too, there's a lot of energy and a lot of passion that's coming out, and you can see it in that. You can see it, you can feel it. Obviously, you can hear it. So I know what you're saying when you say it's real, and that's probably a good thing to be a part of as you're kind of growing and as this, you know, whatever touring looks like coming up. It's probably exciting.
It's exciting, man. You know, for me, doing it sober will be a first.
Yeah.
So I'm also glad I've had all this time off to really establish, you know, myself in recovery. And I didn't just, because I tried to do it a few years ago. I was out with Papa Roach, and during that tour, is when I was taking Oxycontin. So I withdrew from that during the tour, and it was just so memorably horrible, man. You know, having that withdrawal symptoms, and you've got to go on stage for thousands of people. So that was my last experience, sort of using drugs and stuff on the road, and where I had to come off of them. So now that I'm completely sober and straight and healthy, I'm really looking forward to it, because, you know, I've met so many people now, you know, musicians and other people in the industry like yourself that are in recovery, man. And I had no idea before that it's such a huge community of people. And the best part about this community is everybody's supporting each other. Yep. So had I have known this years ago, it probably would have, you know, maybe taken less time to make this step into a life of recovery. But, you know, there's meetings and stuff at backstage now at big festivals. I found out you can, like, you know, look for meetings and stuff of, you know, recovery programs and stuff. You just have to kind of look and be in it, I guess, to know where to look. But so it's exciting, man. It's really exciting to get out there and actually be really clear headed and probably at my best, I would assume, playing, you know, in this situation, because with Finger 11, it was, I mean, we were just major drinkers. And, you know, I was in my 20s and 30s. I don't know if I knew I was an alcoholic in the beginning, because it was just so, everyone around me was drinking like that. And it was so, you know, pushed down your throat basically and encouraged every day. And it wasn't until I started going home for more periods of time that I realized, man, you know, I can't stop, you know, and it actually got worse at home. So doing it straight and sober is it's a little nerve wracking. But you know, that's why I got support of you know, like brothers and people, you know, in these programs that are there for me. But it will be a big change, you know, but one that I think will be a positive one.
Yeah, totally, man. And I imagine that, you know, being a musician, being an artist, and we talked about this on the podcast in different times. Sometimes it can be hard to transition, you know, that, you know, your passion, your skills, like what you're good at, playing drums, and you've done it so long intoxicated that transition into sober can be a little bit different. You know, was that a tough transition for you, like in the beginning, or was it pretty easy?
Well, it's funny. Well, a few things. I mean, in the beginning of playing, I used to have a rule never to get drunk before going on stage. But as time went on, you know, it became, you know, one Monster Red Bull, Monster vodka, not Monster Red Bull, one, you know, another Red Bull vodka, maybe a beer, maybe a shot. And I don't know if I ever went on wasted, but as time went on, I was always, you know, getting more and more lubricated before I would get on stage. And when I, you know, kind of got sober and I wasn't on the road, just here at home, I went through a period where I just kind of was unsure if I would be able to play. and I'd lost all my passion for a little while, you know, and we can get into it a bit, but I was fired from my last band, Saint Asonia. So that was sort of a big thing for me. I didn't hit rock bottom until, you know, about a year or two after that. But when I did stop everything, there was definitely a time where I wasn't sure if I was going to play again. I was very scared because there was like literally no creativity flowing through me. I did not have that just any inspiration to play at all. But I think like anything that you love, you got to give this stuff some time to get your mind and body back. And, you know, thankfully in time, all of a sudden, you know, here I am playing, practicing all the time, and it's all come back, you know, as well as so many other things in my brain. You know, it's all come back to me.
Do you find it like fun? Just super simple. I mean, it's like fun again. You know what I mean? I know for me, like one of the greatest things that's been about being sober is finding like that kid-like spirit that was suppressed once I got into my early, you know, or late teens, 20s. And then you just suppress all that shit. And then you get sober and you're like, man, dude, like I can find, I mean, not that every day is great, but like it is at the same time, and you're free and you're having fun. Like it seems like you're having fun. Like even when I watch the videos, like you're smashing on the drums, dude, and you're like, I can see the fun in your eyes, bro. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. It got to a point, especially when you're touring so much that you don't really practice anymore. You go out on the road, you do your show, you're not practicing during the day on the bus.
Yeah.
And then when I got home, all it was a party. So having this time off, it was, like I was saying, it's been nice to just go to my drum room and just, put on the DC record, Metallica record, or I love drumming to Michael Jackson. Actually, those are the best grooves, you know, but just putting it on and having fun again. Like you said, like a 15-year-old would.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it is all about. It got to a point there, obviously doing it on a professional manner where it was about just making money, business. You know, just having that whole illusion of the rock star guy, which has completely changed in my mind now, thank the Lord, because that was part of the problem with, you know, living that lifestyle, was the person that I thought I was, or that I thought I had to be. And it's really an illusion, you know? So, getting all this stuff back in a childlike way it's amazing, because I thought it was kind of gone, you know? I wasn't sure if it was ever going to come back, and it's come back tenfold in much more of a pure way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's so good to hear. What was, if you don't mind sharing a bit, just to kind of take us back, and then maybe we'll jump into, you know, more of what it's like today. What was like a normal day like? I mean, obviously you're out on the road quite a bit. What did one of those days look like when you were kind of just really struggling?
Well, with Saint Asonia, I was drinking like I always was drinking, but at that point I'd moved past Oxycontin to meth. So my usual day with this band, everything was a secret with them. So I was staying awake for days and days. One of the first things I noticed with them is I would sleep with my clothes on every night on the bus. For me, looking back, I can really tell how uncomfortable I was in that environment. Cause in the past, I mean, I'd just be in my underwear sleeping. It was like home.
Yeah.
But, it got to the point where I was just basically waiting until the bus rolled up to the next hotel so I can get out and go to my hotel in privacy and do more drugs. So it was waiting around, either on the bus or at a hotel, and always sneaking away and using, always. And then as it got later in the day, starting to drink. But, my behavior changed pretty erratically, because like with that drug, it's a very sexualized drug too. Unfortunately, it's kind of like it's shameful, some of the perverted shit I was doing, but it was nice to know later on that kind of just comes hand in hand with methamphetamine. But it all became the whole day was basically about trying to find someone to hook up with, and sneaking away and doing drugs, you know. But the example I always give, sort of my lowest of my low on tour, was just to kind of show you where I was at mentally. I went over to Europe to support Motley Crue on their final tour ever. And, you know, I know they're coming back now, but at the time we thought it was ever.
I remember,
But, you know, there's a band that I've grown up loving and idolizing my whole life. And we get a chance, you know, also to go to Europe, which is, you know, a pretty amazing to go over there and tour, and to be supporting Motley Crue on their final tour. The first day I flew over there, I brought drugs with me, I drank all afternoon. And basically we went on stage and played. It was like a 30-minute set. And I think before my drums were even off the stage, I had gone down into the basement of Wembley Arena in London. I had found a little bathroom to sit and smoke my drugs and, watch my porn. And basically in the background, all I hear is like Dr. Feelgood or Shout of the Devil. And that's the band that I have grown up loving. And it's the first day of the tour, and I don't even give a shit. I'm not watching them. So when I look back on that, like, oh my God, man, that really shows where my brain was at. That was the priority. I flew all the way over there, and here I was in a bathroom in the basement of arena by myself doing drugs and watching pornography. And it was, just a complete degenerate lifestyle at that point. And that was I don't think I watched a full Motley Crue show that whole tour. Really? Which is crazy to me now, and of course there are regrets and you got to move on, but that one still bothers me, I guess it's nice to know with any band in the world, Motley Crue definitely have been there themselves. So, I'm sure if I had a chance to explain, they definitely all be like, oh yeah, dude, we understand. Trust me, we understand.
Man. Yeah. That's no,
it got
crazy.
bad, man. That was my day. Basically, it became nothing to do with the show anymore. The show, if anything, was just something in the way, or just a way to sort of maybe get into that environment and meet a girl or something. But and my playing just really declined because I was staying awake for days and days. And that's what led to my dismissal from the band. And I mean, at the time I thought it was all everybody's fault. They screwed me over, all this stuff, I didn't deserve this. Man, of course, now it's like, what a blessing that was. Cause I definitely would have died. Not probably, for sure. I wouldn't be here right now if that hadn't happened. Yeah. And now, a few years later, I'm friends with those guys again. We're talking that they were very happy to hear that I got help. Another guy in the band, had to get some help himself, and he did. So, as hard as it was to take it at the time, and it made me kind of go even further into the dark side. I don't think I could have got sober without that happening. Like staying on the road and living that life I needed that to stop for a while in order to figure this shit out, man, because that kind of lifestyle and dealing with this do not go hand in hand. You need some time away. I went to rehab, of course, and all that stuff. I had to get away from the rock and roll life to figure out my real life, which is my home life. And this guy, because Rich Beddoe, the drummer, is what I used to think I was, but I'm not, man. I'm Rich Beddoe, the father, the husband, the brother, the sister, the son. And I went through a period where I was I'm Rich Beddoe, the drummer of Finger 11, a drummer of Saint Asonia. And God, the ego involved in just thinking that about yourself. But it just happens after 20 years of playing. You need a reality check. So sobriety has brought me, I think, made me more humble, about the whole idea. I mean, now it's such a blessing to be able to do that for a living, and I'm so grateful for it. But when you're right in the thick of it, you get caught up in the silliness of it all, man. So it's been a blessing to get sober and, to still be here to talk about wanting to make music into the future,
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Like the perspective that we get on things too. You take something like all this crazy shit that's happened last year. It's really changed the way a lot of businesses are operating, or some of them aren't operating anymore. But the music business, comedy business, show business in general, just everything has changed. And it's really easy to look at the negative stuff in our lives that have changed, whether it's work or things that have just kind of happened or are not happening. Right. But there's always something good that comes out of it if we can stay on that kind of practicing gratitude, I guess. And like you're saying, like, man, I was touring, I was doing, living my life, this, lifestyle, but like I needed to to not be in the band anymore. I needed a break. So that was like a reset for you, which is cool when you can actually become sober and look back and go, man, yeah, it worked out just how it was supposed to, like,
for sure. Yeah.
One thing, I wanted to ask you too. So I totally lost my train of thought right there. Oh, that's so weird, bro. It's like the weirdest thing. Like
well, I think I jumped all over the place in that answer, so I probably
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
I actually had a question. Damn, dude, totally just slipped my brain.
Well, one thing I was going to say on
yeah,
that
go ahead.
subject quickly is, the idea of, like I was talking about my identity as being Rich Beddoe, the drummer from this band. It went through a point in my life where I didn't want to be anybody else. I needed that thing first and then all the other stuff. And I thought if I didn't have that, I was no longer the guy that I wanted to be. I really love the idea now that you can be, since I lost that identity, it's made me, I think, it's going to make me a better musician into the future, because I think that bullshit of being a rock star stuff, it comes across when you're on stage or when you're meeting people at meet and greets. I mean, I don't want to call out any of my old bandmates because that's not my, in my nature to do anymore. But the way that I handled myself and I handled myself in that band in Finger 11, there were things that it just didn't seem like, normal behavior. It didn't seem like when you meet people, like that's how you're supposed to kind of do it. And whatever that might mean, I guess I don't want to be calling anyone out, but I think being me, this identity as me of a person, it makes whatever the rock star version of me better than trying to turn that around and trying to be the guy in the band and then the father and all that stuff. It's like sobriety, man. Like if that has to be first, if that ain't first, your career and your family and stuff are all going to suffer. If I'm trying to be the guy in the band as my very first thing and try to be, all in and the best crazy drummer I can be. And then, when I come home, I'd hardly talk to my mom and dad, or when I come home, all this shit, man, I think that has to come first. And if it does, it makes you such a better musician. And these days, with this pandemic going on, I mean, all these bands were doing like live stream events and getting really hands-on with their fans, doing virtual songwriting stuff. I know Clint from Seven Dust was doing like online songwriting sessions. Those things, I think are really awesome and humbling for bands to get back to doing, like really having interactions with the fans. And I'm not sure in the past, at least in Finger 11, if I would have been interested in getting that close with people. Yeah. So again, it's finding the blessings in all of this. Last year's pandemic it's destroyed so many, restaurants and so many careers of people. In my experience, I had a baby. I joined a new band. I really properly got sober. I mean, everything being taken away from me last year has been just like with the band getting fired from it. It's all kind of needed to happen. And obviously I know people have lost their lives in this horribleness of this virus, but my personal experience is, selfishly being a positive one, besides being stuck at home. I get to say I was stuck at home, but with my new baby. Yeah. So, I feel for everyone that's gone through all the hardships, but it's like, it was all part of the path for me, to have this happen. But I kind of went off track.
No, that's it was perfect, bro. And I was you actually kind of hit on what I had forgot earlier, and I was going to mention something about the true self. Like you found your true self. Like that's what I feel like that is. It's like you're not identifying through this person that you think you need to be or should be or live up to, or trying, like I always struggled with, I felt like I had to like prove stuff to people, like I'm good, I can do this, or I will do that. And then at one point, like one of the best things is I love just when someone asks me something, I just go, I don't know. I don't have to have the answers. I don't know. Like I have no clue. Right. Like it's so like relieving though. But what was it for you that, like, what was that? Did you have that moment where, and I get this question a lot, like, how did you know, or what was that like when you finally decided, like, I'm going for this, I'm going in, like, this isn't the life I want to live. I need to get sober. Right. I don't want to die. Whatever the case, what did that look like for you?
And unfortunately for me, it had to involve all the worst stuff. I moved down to Michigan from Toronto. The band thing happened, me getting fired while I was still going back and forth. So I moved down here to Michigan. I was out of the band. It was my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. And the drugs had stopped only because I didn't know where to get them here in Michigan. So it was just, luckily with methamphetamine, it's not the kind of addictiveness where it's like physical addictiveness. It's more just mental. Yeah. So I was able to get off drugs just by, because I wasn't around them, but I was drinking even more at that point because I was still missing something I was used to in my system. But my girlfriend, now wife at the time, really noticed that, I was blacking out. We were fighting like crazy, where I was like destroying my guitar and wrecking my V drum, just over the top anger stuff. And it came to a head one night where the cops were called. We had a fight, and, I kind of pushed her down the ground, and I did push her down on the ground, and the cops came and they handcuffed me and they took me away to jail, as they should have. So I was sitting in jail, and just outside of Detroit here, the jail was it was intimidating being in there, that everyone was talking about, more having guns, being caught with guns and everything. And I'm just this Canadian guy, like, holy fuck. Like, wow, this is where I've gotten, man. I've got fired from my band. I'm sitting here in jail now. And I'm going to have this now on my record, like a domestic involved with like putting my hands on a woman, someone that I love. Like, that was really, I was getting really close to rock bottom, but I hadn't got there yet.
Yeah.
When I got out of jail, I was only in there for a couple of days, and I was on probation, but obviously part of that probation was no alcohol or drugs. And it was very quickly after that, I started drinking heavily, blacking out, and my wife was scared for my life. She was, she thought she could see that this whole arrest and stuff had brought me even darker. And she made the right move and called my probation officer, which at the time I was so furious about and felt so betrayed. But now, again, in hindsight, she didn't know what else to do. Yeah. And she was trying to save me. But from that first probation call, then I had to do the P tests every few days. And you don't know when they were going to call. So I failed that, immediately. Then I got a bracelet put on my ankle, failed that immediately. I mean, I could not stop drinking until the judge, was like, man, you're going to go for 6 months or something to jail, wow. Or you can go to rehab. And what a great man he was to do that. I mean, I had 5 probation violations, how he did this to me. But it was me going to rehab and getting there and actually deciding, you know what, I'm here. I'm going to just figure out if I do have this disease of alcoholism, and I'm going to just give this a real go. And it was only a day or two into it. It was a great rehab center that I started educated on this behavior of mine and how it's real and how this is, I started tracing back my family and my, how I grew up and how this stuff has affected me, and my desire to do it, how different it was from most people. And, it was there. I kind of surrendered to, holy shit, man. Look at me. I'm in a freaking rehab. Yeah. And then everyone else's stories were so much like mine.
Yeah.
So it was really getting to rehab and opening my mind to, I might have a problem. And I, luckily very quickly realized, okay, I am one of these people. The second big thing. Yeah. The second
I'm
big
not
thing
like
was giving.
Them.
Yeah.
That's like that classic. Like I'm not like them. Yeah.
Classic line, of course, but it was spirituality too. I mean, I used to consider myself an atheist, and but the one thing I always found about atheists was how I always thought they were very rude in how they judged other people. And the example I always use is Ricky Gervais. He's such an amazing comedian, or BBC shows are so genius and some of the best ever done. But when it came to him doing interviews, he often talks about God and stuff. And, he's there doing a promo for The Office or something. And he's telling people in the interview how people that believe in God are stupid and stuff. That's how I took it, even when I believed in his beliefs. So I just thought, man, I'm going to try getting on my knees, and I'm here at this rehab place. I'm going to just take this advice. And it was pretty immediate, man. As soon as I did the act of getting on my knees and trying to have a conversation with something that I didn't know what that thing was, who I was talking to, who was listening, I just did it. And I think the act of just doing it opened my mind to the spirituality path that I needed to get sober. So all of these things, man, were hitting rock bottom. But really once I got to that rehab center is when I I'd say it was rock bottom. But yeah, you know, that's when God kind of came into my life, and that's when the reality of my situation, I finally accepted it, surrendered. And that was sort of the moment, you know, it was upwards after that, man.
Yeah, it's funny. As soon as you said surrender, I swear to God it was literally on the tip of my tongue too. Cause I could picture it just getting down on your knees and going like, even if like somebody doesn't have any clue what God is or a higher power or whatever, just saying, I am done. I'm beaten down. I'm exhausted. Like I surrender to you. When we become available and we make ourselves available to something higher, there's something that does internally. At least it did to me. It sounds like it did to you too. That can put us on a different path than we're going down. That's really cool, man. I love it.
I always liken it to, you know, in the military that, you know, you get up first thing in the morning, you make your bed, and there's a reason you do that. I've never been in the military, but so I'm told, you know, it's the first goal of the day done.
Yep.
It puts your mind in a particular place for the day. You know, now you're achieving things, you're getting things done before you even step, you know, a few steps away from your bed, you're doing something. And man, do I ever understand that now, of the mentality of to do that. I can't say I always make my bed in the morning, but I get why. But for me, it's about first thing in the morning, getting on your knees and praying. You know, I don't need to know anything more. Cause I still question, you know, God and what that is to me, but I don't need to know. It's great that it's a mystery. You know, it's the universe is a mystery. It's the act of me getting on my knees and just putting my brain, like you were just kind of saying there, it's setting your day in the right direction where, you know, as soon as I do that, I feel better, like so much better. I'm ready to start my day. And I used to really spend my time thinking, oh man, you know, it's so foolish. There's nobody listening and all that stuff. I don't know if it's true. I don't know anything, man. I'm just this, you know, dumb ape-like human, Homo sapien guy walking on this planet. I don't know anything. Who am I? All I do know is that when I do this act every day, it's helped me stay sober. It's helped me be a better person, a better father, and it's making me make better decisions. So I so understand now why prayer is part of this whole recovery thing, for me at least.
It helps find some peace throughout the day. Like, because a lot of us who struggle with addiction, like our minds, they don't stop. I know my mind just doesn't stop if I'm not, actively working on it, so like just being not in control. And back to even what I was saying earlier, you just hit on it again. Like, just, I don't know, like I don't have to have all the answers. I just need to do the next right thing and kind of stay in the moment, and practicing that makes it definitely easier. One thing I wanted to ask you, like how have your relationships improved, man? Just from on a business tip, on a marriage tip, just relationships in general.
Man, I feel like it's tenfold, like 100%. The way that I really know that's true is from feedback I get back. I mean, my mom and dad and brother and sister are in Canada, in Toronto. So it's really great, the positive things they have to say when I talk to them now. They, they can see a sparkle in my eye again. I feel like I'm listening. I'm not just waiting to say something. I'm actually listening. And I do everything in my power to only give positive feedback back to them. Me and my sister, for example, we're so close in age, and it's so natural for us to call each other out on something and just sort of have an opinion about each other's lives. Yeah. And she just went into a new business venture recently that I'm a little unsure that she should be doing. And as she was telling me about it on the phone, all these lessons that I'm learning in this program came into my mind. And all I did to her was just give her tons and tons of positivities. Be like, that's awesome. Her name's Justine. That's awesome, Justine. And, I'm here. Anything you need, man. I just want to help you and support you. I'm so proud of you. And I never would have done that in the past,
I love it. Yeah.
And then of course my family life with my wife, I think again, she would probably be the better one to ask, but I think I'm so much calmer as far as reacting to things. It's just everything that you learn in these programs, I feel like I utilize in my life daily. At least I try to. In the past, I would just say things and make decisions on the whim, but now most of the time I stop and I just think about, okay, calm down, think about what you're going to say. How could this affect the situation? Or how could this make it worse? Or sometimes just don't say anything, just listen.
Yeah.
So I'm using all these things all throughout my day, man, every day, how I'm disciplining my stepkids, how I'm just everything, man, throughout the day. Everything I'm doing is focused on the things I've learned and trying to do it in a positive way and not anything negative. Just trying to put out positive stuff in the universe. And I've noticed it's so much come back to me, especially musically, man. Since I started doing that, all of a sudden, all these opportunities have, jumped into my life again. And before I thought if I didn't do music again, sober or not, that's my career. What am I going to do if I can't do that? Things in the steps in these programs have taught me that no matter what happens now, I mean, I really hope to get out there touring and to be successful still as a musician, but I don't need that in my life anymore. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be okay. I'd like that to happen, but tomorrow is a mystery, man. So as long as I just take care of things today, who knows? It's a wonderful thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'll never tour again. Maybe I'll never, but if I don't, then that's because it's meant to be that way.
Yeah, that's good.
But since I've sort of got there in my head, all of a sudden the music stuff has come back tenfold in my life, So I had to sort of let it go and just put it into God's hands for it all of a sudden to appear like never before, which is still blows my mind, man, how that works. But
dude, yeah.
So yeah.
It is crazy because it's so I don't think unconventional is the right word. There's another word I'm looking for. It doesn't make sense all the time, I guess, is an easy way to put it, right? We think we need to push and work harder and do more. And my sponsor and I talk about this a lot. He's like, man, you got to go with the flow. You got to have peace in the unknown. You have to be able to sit in the moment and completely trust. And it's a really hard thing to do. And I wish, like you said, so many good things like regarding the program and just living life too. I wish that like when I talk to somebody who's new or who's looking to get sober, like we're so center focused on the addiction, on the alcohol or the drug or whatever. And I'm not downplaying that. Like it's definitely, there's issues there. Like I have an issue with drugs and alcohol and number one, alcohol. But there's so much more to it than that, especially in a program. We're learning how to not use those tools to deal with life. We're learning how to live life, like on life's terms. And that's a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. And we could save people so much time if they could just get a little nugget of that and just go, okay, wait, there's more to this than just not drinking. Like we can learn how to live life and be peace, have some peace and all that stuff that comes with it. Yeah, man.
I love the words, peace in the peace of the unknown. I think I gotta have peace. Would you say something like that? You gotta have peace with the unknown. I love that, man. That sums it up so perfectly. You can't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So why stress and panic about it? Cause it's coming. But you can't affect it today by how you're living today, I think. Absolutely. But that was all I did in the past was worry about the future and ponder upon my past. That's all I did, man. And I was never present,
Yeah.
So that's such a big thing in my life now, just to be here now talking to you. My attention is with you. We're talking. Yeah. And it's funny, just little things like that. It's strange to think I never did that before, but it affects everything, man. Now me and you the other day, we're, doing some calls together. Now here we are in a meeting at a podcast today. Now we're friends. I mean, everything just happens so beautifully when you just do it in the moment and just take it day by day. And, real things come your way and you appreciate them then.
It's so cool, man. And it's there's excitement there too. Okay, man, what's God got today? What's going to happen today? And sometimes, some days are better than others, but I can honestly, genuinely say that, man, my days sober are just so much more fruitful. And, I am pretty dang excited most days to wake up and see what's going down. I want to put, we got a couple minutes, but, and we'll have to do this again, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and share, man. Just be so open about everything too, dude. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah.
One of the things that I love that you said that, it has been pretty personal to me is when you're talking about like speaking into people, like speaking into your sister, for instance, like the program Being Sober allows you to understand, because it's such a we're selfish human beings, addiction or not. That's in us. We're wired like that. When we can step aside from that and leave like our personal opinions, leave, our advice sometimes, and just sit back and listen and encourage people. Where it could be a stranger too, man. Just, oh man, that's awesome, man. Hope you have a great day. That's going to work out for you, and really speak into people. That's one thing I still am learning, dude. And I feel, you feel so filled up when you do that. And like my sponsor always says, oh, you're struggling with this? Well, get your ass out there and go help somebody. You know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. I'll go help somebody. And that works, Yeah. I just thought that was cool.
And you really see, and you see people like this example with my sister. I mean, I really notice a difference in them when you're communicating that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't go as far to say that you're going to help make that thing happen they're talking about, but I think you're leaving the conversation and they're hanging up, hopefully feeling a little better than they did when they told you about it, and I love that, man. Just offering positivity and just sometimes just shutting up and listening to the person, giving them your full attention. Such a simple thing, man, but how much of a difference that can make in your relationships with people.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Well, before we wrap up today, let's see if folks want to check out No Resolve, I put the link in here, noresolve.info. It's at Rich Beddoe on Instagram. If you guys want to reach out or follow Rich, any advice, also too, I saw if love was a gun, the teaser video came out yesterday, which is pretty funny, dude. I like the comedy elements of it, by the way. That was
it's really tongue in cheek, the whole song is kind of that vibe. So it's a fun one. I think that's coming out on Friday.
Nice.
But anyone wants to reach out to me, and you were saying the advice thing. I think it's all about songs, man. It's about the rock and roll world, at least, is still about getting on stage with good songs. And that's really, it doesn't always matter. People these days have this big business plan with social media, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. It's all about followers. It's all about songs, man. It always has been.
Yeah, that's great.
And just going at it, man, remembering that touring and stuff is your job, and you want to be the best that you can be. And I know in your 20s, it's easy, the whole lifestyle, it's fun as well. And I had fun, man. I had lots of fun, but just, you want to be better than the next band that's right behind you. And there's always one right behind you, just waiting for you to fail, man. They're going to be popping right up. So, just keeping that in mind. And if anyone has any questions or anything they want to ask me about or get in touch with me, to me through Facebook or Instagram, and I'll always answer you, man. And, that's the beautiful thing about being sober, man. I look forward to talking to people and offering any help I can. So please reach out to me, man. I'll get back to you.
That's good. Thanks a lot, Rich. I appreciate it, man. Good stuff. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Share the podcast with a friend, and you can check us out at thatsoberguy.com. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Rich, I'll see you in the next meeting, huh?
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff, dude. Good stuff.
Well, thanks for having me. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.